Top of the world, Ma for her last Prime Minister's questions of the year, Theresa May was determined to shoot from the hip. After months of being humiliated by all around her, she had finally reached a safe place. Her job was secure for the time being and she was going to enjoy the feeling while it lasted. No more trying to be caring and sharing. Now she could unleash the real nasty party within. Labour's Rosie O'Lynn began by raising child homelessness. Theresa wasn't having any of it. Who gave a toss about that? It wasn't as if there were loads of kids actually sleeping on the streets. The government had gone out of its way to provide extra cardboard boxes in temporary refuges and had even laid on night buses for kiddies to snooze in. What more did anyone expect? People made far too big a deal of being homeless. Theresa was equally uncompromising in her exchanges with Jeremy Corbyn. The Labour leader would trade her one statistic on the NHS and she would just come back with another entirely unrelated one. People were dying in ambulances. Big deal, they weren't dying in bus shelters. The NHS was in crisis. Get over yourself. The NHS in Wales was even worse. It was like watching two drunks squaring up to each other and failing to lay a glove on one another. He said he would be Prime Minister by Christmas, she yelled. This was what she had really come to the Commons to say. She had beaten the odds. She was Prime Minister, not him. Yeah, boo, sucks, and to hell with everything else. The Prime Minister was rather less reckless for her appearance before all the Select Committee chairs at the Liaison Committee in the afternoon. Sometime over lunch, she had been reprogrammed to talk in her more familiar Maybot. Long sentences of awkward intonation and disconnected words designed to conceal the fact she wasn't entirely sure what she was talking about. Things got off to a bad start when Hilary Benn asked her to explain how she could guarantee there would be no checks or no controls at the Northern Ireland border if Britain couldn't come to a deal on free movement of all goods. Theresa fiddled nervously with her designer glasses. It was handy to have a prop. Helped to give the impression she had a personality. There definitely would be no physical infrastructure at the border, though there might be one or two people with a digital camera stationed several miles from the border. That was just the warm-up. Theresa really got into her non-communicative stride when Rachel Reeves pressed her on regulatory alignment. There were some goals where we had the same goals and some goals where we had different goals, and in some cases regulatory alignment meant alignment and in others divergence. As for the implementation period, it was a period in which we would be implementing the things we would be implementing. It was all downhill from there. Tom Tejedat wondered whether the fact that the entire British Navy was in dry dock was a symbol of our global decline. Absolutely not, because we had a couple of rubber dingers in the Med. Andrew Murrow invited her to think about the default position.